For wrestling diehards only, this is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
Hey, that's right. Welcome in. It is the season finale edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com. Little Monday night wrestling for you. Typically, we do this on Tuesday nights, but we have another state tournament preview show for another sport that we've got to do tomorrow night. So we bumped it up to Monday, and just looking at the number of people that are tuning in tonight, thank you to everybody that's here. This is by far our most popular prepcast we do on IdahoSports.com, and you guys are crushing it again tonight. So as you are watching on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, Twitter account, or Instagram account, that's right, we're on Instagram tonight as well. You can also tune in on the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page. And as you're hanging out tonight, not everybody's going to be able to make it live. A lot of people are going to want to tune into this throughout the week. So while you're hanging out tonight, if you could hit that like button and then share this when we're all said and done, it'll help everybody else find this on replay a little bit easier amongst all the social media stuff going on. And as always, we want you in the chat participating with your comments, your questions, your shout outs. You throw it in the chat, we'll throw it up on the screen and take your questions live. All right, my name is Brandon Baney. Let's bring in our experts tonight. We'll see if he's here from the Treasure Valley. Coach Al Fontes, right before I hit go live, all I heard Al say was, hey, are you guys having internet problems? Because I am. So, Al, are you with us?
I'm here. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Hey, those are the words no host wants to hear right before they're set to go live. I'm having internet problems.
I know. What are you going to do?
Oh, Al.
How you doing?
Fantastic. Al, you did a great job with your state tournament previews last week. You presented all of the data, all of the returning placers, the team favorites, and I got to say, you were pretty spot on with your assessments in terms of team favorites, dark horses, individuals to keep an eye on. It was pretty good. And of course, we'll get to all of that here in just a moment. But first, let's also bring in tonight Brian Zollinger. Brian, what's going on?
What's going on, diehards? Here we go, huh?
Here we go. Final show of the regular season, and already the chat blowing up here. Travis Tyler from Sandpoint. What a great weekend. It was phenomenal. Usually we start the show with the best thing that we saw from the week that was. I always let you guys go first, but tonight I'm going to bat lead off and take the easy one here. How about that tie between Minico and Bishop Kelly for the state championship? How fitting was it? We talked about this going in, that these two were as evenly matched as you could possibly be. Two totally different strategies on how you're going to try and win state. And Brian, no tie-breaking procedure in place. And so this like never happens. Very unusual, but they're co-champions.
Yeah, that was amazing. I won't say you stole my thunder. I'll go a little further with that is what was fun was to see those two teams know it. You got to the Martino match and you saw Martino trying to pick up those bonus points, trying to increase the lead, and then Skellinger doing it. I mean, that was just some heads-up wrestling by Martino, Skellinger, and then Thompson picks up the pin, and then, of course, Vale from Minico comes back and gets the pin, and even Twist against Skellinger trying not to give up the major decision. That was a lot of fun watching that come down to the wire like that. And just the headsy wrestling, the coaching, just great job by both teams.
Yeah, Al, the coaches have to be on point, knowing, and they are calculating in real time. Okay, what's our point total? What do we need to do? It was fascinating to see the coaching staffs go back and forth between Minico and Bishop Kelly as well.
No, they were within striking distance the whole tournament. Like Brian was saying before, you do the math and you look at all the seeds. Okay, here's going to be the score 120, 120, but what's the variables? Who's going to score? Pinpoints, bonus, what seconds are going to rise. Obviously, Minico had more seconds placed than Bishop Kelly, but they had, about 7 guys make the finals, plus their heavyweight rose to the occasion, and a few other kids rose to the occasion. And you can just see the team unity, they kept winning the close matches. So it was great for wrestling to watch that.
Fantastic. Here's Lane Baker. Way to go, Minico. There needs to be a tie-breaking procedure. Yeah, that's Maybe we can brainstorm how it just doesn't happen that often, but when it does,
I
you're
thought
like,
the coaches should wrestle.
Oh, that's great.
Here's the thing, too. I think that's the first time since 1969 that they had a tie, but we have to also realize that the teams for third place tied as well. And the fifth place team was only a half a point from them. So 3A was one of the best wrestled divisions when it came to the scores being tight like that. It was incredible. Mathematically, I don't know what the probability would be to reach that conclusion of 248 to 248 and have two teams tie for third. That's incredible. Great wrestling.
Yep. And here's HA, Coach Wrestle Off. I love that idea. LOL. That's funny. Okay. Brian, what outside of Minico and BK, what was the best thing that you saw from this past weekend at State?
Just the class altogether, the way everyone, there were some tough defeats that Malad, Drake Morrison's match, he was up big, number 1 seed, and gets pinned in the third place. And just to see the way he took that loss. And then there were several others in the finals. I mean, so many close matches. And just to see these kids in the class act they are when they, lost and walked off the mat with their heads held high. Overall, I thought that was just wonderful throughout the tournament.
Al, best thing you saw?
It was a multitude of kids that have been climbing that ladder of success throughout the year, coming up short some of the times, but really putting it together at the state tournament. There were several kids that were beating kids before into the medal matches. So just kudos to all those wrestlers that were patient and sort of went over that hump and met their goals. There was a lot of that going on. So that was great to see.
Yep. In the chat, Billy and Chelsea Brown, good job to all the placers this past weekend. We focus, of course, on 1s and 2s, but, even the 5s and 6s are crucial when it comes to state. So great job, everybody there. Lynn, representing the Post Falls Trojans tonight. Yeah, hey, let us know where you're tuning in from as you're in the chat here. We love to hear where everybody is watching from. So Lynn, of course, representing Post Falls. Coach Nider, go Idaho Falls Tigers. And now we're starting to get some of the shout outs here. Birdwatcher says, shout out to Gracie Price on your second place finish. Tiffany and Brian, congrats to the Meridian Warriors and their 5A record 4th straight title. Stephen Ponch say, let's go Fruitland Grizzlies. Great 3A performance from them. Travis, shout out to you, Al. Thank you for everything you've done. So
thank you. It's for the kids, for the sport. Love being here. Thank you.
Yep. Megan says, shout out to bracket buster Jace Hendren at 5A 132, seeded 15th, took 3rd. Brian, we had a lot of lower seeds topple higher seeds across the spectrum.
Yeah, that's always fun to watch at the state tournament. It happens every year, and I haven't looked to see if that was the highest of 15 taken 3rd, but I think it probably was.
It's got to be.
I can't think off the top of my head of one that was higher.
Yeah, I haven't finished all the stats, but in the 5A, there was 5 non-seeded wrestlers that placed in the top 6. So just approximately 6% were non-seed, meaning they weren't in the top 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get outside of 8, right, it's all unseeded, but you can kind of figure out what your seed is based upon who you're lined up against in the bracket. Annie says, great state tournament once again. Congratulations to all. Ryan, congratulations to Jacob Blandford, 165A, and Trevor Panter, 106 3A. Here is Birdwatcher
that was
again.
The match I was talking about, the 160s.
Yeah, that was a good one, right?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a good one. Didn't disappoint.
Epic battle for sure. Birdwatcher, the 100-pound freshman girls are bad bleep. If you want to know what he said, you can tune into the video.
They didn't disappoint, I'll tell you that. We have a bright future in the girls division.
Yes, it was a fun showcase for girls wrestling statewide this past weekend. Michelle, shout out to Zoe Ortiz, second place at 132 in the girls division. Here's Sam, our IdahoSports.com super fan, North Idaho resident. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Coach Al. Hi, Brian. Hey, Sam. Good to have you on tonight. Thomas, shout out to Ty Webster, 126 pounds from Fruitland, coming in unseeded and placing fourth and scoring 18 points for his team as a senior. Lost in the blood rounds the previous years. Al, this is what you're talking about here. These stories of redemption, of climbing that ladder, and maybe state didn't go the way you wanted to last year. You put in the work, you dedicate yourself, it pays off in your senior season.
That's it. There was a lot of that happening in all the different divisions. I saw it in the girls, 2A, 1A, all the way up to 5A. There was a lot of kids that were rising to the occasion, which is what you love to see.
Yep. Jacqueline's here tonight representing the Post Falls Trojans, of course. Here's Nate Googleman. Go Beavs. That's American Falls. Eric says, go Lakeland Hawks. Kendra representing the Thunder Ridge Girls. Mike Santos says, go Tigers. A lot of Tigers in the field, right? That's always the most common. Let's see. Blaze says, go Lakeside Knights. Blaze plays that other winter sport that we don't talk about. And congratulations, Blaze, and your teammates are going to state in that sport. But we talked about it last week, right? Lakeside had some state qualifiers for the first time in like 20 years. So it was pretty remarkable to see there. Nate says, shout out to Francisco Barola, 16 seed to third at 3A 106. Jacob says, Logan Shaver making the finals, going up 4 weights this year. How impressive from this young gun. Yep. IF Tigers, Mike Santos. I was just giving you a hard time. I was just giving you a hard time with that, Mike. Kevin says, way to go, Gabe Muhlenberg, 3-time finalist from Glens Ferry. Go Pilots. Jody, shout out to Raylyn O'Connor, girls 100-pound state champ from Salmon. Al, that was a gauntlet of a bracket. And
yeah, she looked tough. And another one, that's 100s, correct?
Yeah.
No, she looked solid. There were some really talented girls in that weight. In fact, they had, I think, 3 freshmen placing that weight. So very impressive. I watched some of her matches. So kudos to her. She has a bright future.
For sure. We were talking about the lowest seeded winner or placer, American Falls 106, seeded 16th, took 3rd. That's from Anthony Freeman. Tiffany and Brian, congrats to Leah Nichols winning 114 girls over Jolie Slider. Awesome job. Al, when I saw this come across, this opened my eyes a little bit. This was a well-fought match. I kind of thought Jolie Slider, was the favorite coming in. And congratulations to Leah Nichols for pulling it off.
No, she is a favorite. She's a true champion, win or loss. She's a true champion, great character. She was the favorite. Talia's wrestled her a couple of times. Now, Talia was a U14 national champ. She didn't wrestle last year. Something happened before districts where she couldn't compete. So this is her first state tournament. But she's wrestler. It was a great well-coached match. I'm sure they're going to wrestle again. So I see a great rivalry, but both champions in my eyes. Jolie, it was a good match. She went after her, but nonetheless, both stand-up athletes.
And Brian, that's what makes the all classification format so difficult. You got to beat the best of the best to win it all.
It is, and it's getting tougher and tougher. I mean, percentage-wise, it would be hard to split girls right now, but percentage-wise, it's getting tougher and tougher to be a girls' state champ than it is boys, just because the divisions. I mean, next year, if we're over 1,000, percentage-wise, your odds as a girl now are less. So it won't be long before we split those. I see discussion online already. After the state tournament, people think it should be split. We'll get there. I'd
say about 2 or 3 years. What do you think, Brian? I mean, we still got to grow overall in the overall weight groups, right?
Yep. I agree. I mean, you couldn't split it in 4 divisions right now. You could maybe split it in 2, but how do you do that? I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, where's that cutoff line, right? That's a tough one for sure. Crystal says, shout out to Bracket Buster Hunter Gamble, 2A 138, 15 seed. Took out the 2 seed in the first match. That is an upset, Brian.
It was. Yeah, absolutely. And there was a couple of those, so it was crazy.
Even in the girls, some number 1 seeds lost. So you got to be there to wrestle. Seeds are like something on a chalkboard. You can erase it, but once you do it, it's in stone. So great wrestling. Got to be ready that day.
Yeah, for sure. Amy, Soda Springs took 5 boys, 1 girl, brought home 4 medals. Proud of our Cardinals. Al, just in terms of pure efficiency in terms of athletes that came home with medals, that might be tough to beat. That's 4 out of 6. That's pretty good.
That's a high percentile. Yes. No, very impressive. When you look at all the team scores in the girls, I believe Thunder Ridge won it. They had 1 champ, 5 placers, whereas the 5th place team had 1 champ and 3 placers. So the average was 3 to 5 places for the top 5 teams. So, I think they're on the rise if they're placing that many kids. So we'll probably see more of them in the years to come.
Yeah, and efficiency on the girls' race, Bonners Ferry taking 3rd. I mean, that.
Wow, yeah,
that was some efficiency there. They came in and got it done, and we had them just outside the top 3, but they were super efficient. They had 2 freshmen medal, I think. So that was some efficiency on Bonners Ferry girls' part too.
Yeah, here's Ryan Skaggs, our North Idaho broadcaster. Congrats, all North Idaho champs. And then he says, small schools exist. That was a win for the small schools when Bonners Ferry took 3rd out. That was huge.
Yeah, and Bonners Ferry, they had a gal, Aubrey Wells, took 2nd. She made the finals, and she beat the number 1 seed in round 1. And she was tough, but she wrestled Rihanna Walter in the finals, the number 3 seed, and it was a good match. But nonetheless, Bonners Ferry's, I was impressed with that team.
Yeah, really fun to watch. Corey says, congratulations, Aaron Peterson, 5A Coach of the Year. Well deserved, representing the Madison Bobcats there. Here's another Glens Ferry shout out from Kevin. Vanessa Ortiz knocking out the returning state champ at 107. Go Pilots. Hunter Beidelman, shout out to the 98-pounder Ryan Herchert on his 2nd state title. James says, go Teton. Fulmer hit 300 takedowns in the finals match. Riker Fulmer, he's been a stud all year, Brian.
It's seriously dominant. I mean, what did he have? 2 techs and 2 pins in the tournament. I mean, just dominant. One of 4 undefeated wrestlers in the state this year. I think there were maybe 2 girls and 2 boys possibly. So yeah, I mean, amazing season, amazing career really, but he just marched his way through it. It was impressive.
Has he committed anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
College coaches need to take note. That kid's solid. There's a lot of potential in him. So if he decides to go to the next level, I think he can have a pretty good career.
Without a doubt.
Big potential for sure. I got an email earlier today, gentlemen, speaking of just sheer dominance in the bracket. I got an email from TJ Jones, one of the coaches from Mountain View. He wanted to give a shout out to the Maverick wrestlers that went and competed at 5A. Shiloh Jones, of course, he didn't give up a point as he dominated the 5A championship at the heavyweights. He also finished benchmarked 168 high school wins in his career Saturday. That's not counting any post or preseason competitions. And he sent along a picture too from earlier this year when he crossed the 150 win threshold. That's cool. That's a cool banner they got made up for him.
That's pretty sweet.
Gosh, look at that.
To see Shiloh at the next level, North Dakota State. Here we go.
Look at that stare in the banner too, bro. Al, that's intimidation right there.
No, I mean, I've said it before. Shiloh has wrestled in every competition in the country, whether it's Walsh Ironman, Fargo, folk style, U.S. Open, Nationals. He's got 11 All-American honors. He's been in the gauntlet wrestling the best heavyweights in the country. And then plus you add Aiden McGinnis, who's his workout partner, who made the state finals and first time placing. He's just been surrounded by some of the best competition. I'll miss watching him in high school, but I look forward to seeing him in college.
Yep.
Idaho's heavyweights are just dominant. I mean, you had Shiloh. I think overall the tournament, Nathan Willoughby from New Plymouth had the shortest amount of time wrestled in the tournament. I think he wrestled for a total of 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It was like, he just went after people, man. Yeah. But these kids are doing the summer wrestling, right, Brian? I mean, they've been putting in the time and, they're battle tested. Great wrestlers. And he's going to Maine Maritime Academy?
Yep.
Division III program. So I got to talk to him a little bit. Plus, he's a football player too, right?
Going to be dual sport in college. That's going to be fun to watch too.
Great kid. Respect him. Very respectful kid. I wish him the best.
Yeah, absolute stud for sure. A couple more Mountain View shout outs here from Coach Jones. Aiden McGinnis, who got to the finals, sidelined last year as the number 3 heavyweight from Mountain View. responded this year as a district finalist, state finalist as well. Troy Grizzle, 5A 220, the number 1 seed and the district champ from District 3. This was a bummer, Brian. Broke his arm during warm-ups. And
I couldn't believe that. I've never in my life seen that. And,
No.
you see the hubbub, the ambulance coming down, and you're going, what's going on over there? And somebody told me that's just heartbreaking. So,
yeah, he's a great kid too. I felt really bad for him. He's been working hard, but yeah, like you said, Brian, that was a fluke. I mean, it wasn't good, but nonetheless, I wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
He was actually in surgery during the finals, is doing okay. And you wondered, Troy had beaten the opponent he was set to face. He had beaten him twice during the season, including just a week ago at districts. And I don't know, it changes the course a little bit without him in there, but you have to line up and face who you face. So
and Cash Weeks is a tough kid too. I mean, he was number 3 seed returning placer, and it would have been a great match. Even a kid from Madison, that was a pretty good weight. So, I just hope he's well.
Yep. And the final Mountain View shout out to Ian Avalos, 9th grader, district champ, and 126 finalist. Future is bright with that one. Ian Avalos on the boys' side as a freshman. So those are some of the Mountain View shout outs we had there. Let's see more shout outs, guys. Clifford says Sam Buck, 4A 285 champ and only his 3rd year wrestling, an absolute stud on the mat and on the football field. And Ryan says Carter Vanek from Lakeland at 4A 285 took first as a first-year wrestler. Heck of a way to start a career.
That's pretty impressive. That's some talent for sure.
Al, that's not the recommended route, but if you can pull it off, cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, I mean, I've seen bull riders come out for wrestling in first year do well. Man, they're just used to that tough stuff, so you just never know. But yeah,
for sure. Guys in the chat from Minico High, Garrett Vale. Hey, how's it going, guys? Garrett, you've been here every single week throughout the season. I just want to say congratulations. You performed outstandingly well at state. And it was so fun watching you compete all year long, Garrett, for sure. So
pretty amazing that pin in the finals. I mean, that without that, it's not the tie. And so good work, Garrett. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah. That was the story, right, Al?
It's a story only Hollywood would write. I mean, it was going back and it was, as a fan, it was great to watch. But I think they knew he was going to get a pin at the end. He didn't waste any time, but nonetheless, great performance.
Yeah. Yep. I think he pinned another kid that just pinned his way through the entire tournament. So 4 pins, not quite as quick as Willoughby, but 4 pins, still pretty impressive.
I agree.
Yeah, that's insane. Brian says, let's go Madison. Bray says, how about Jack Eddins pinning Drake Morrison? Jack being unranked and then making the finals. Al, Brian, you talked about that a little earlier in the show. Let's see. Zach says, amazing to see so many 3 and 4 timers, a ridiculous amount of highlights this year. Al, that's part of what you're working on as part of your state tournament recap.
Yeah, I'll have a lot of statistics. Forgive me if I mess them up. There's a lot of data I'm going through, but I'm going to break things down, how many number 1 seeds actually placed first, how many number 2s, etc. But a lot of 3-timers and 4-timers. It was great to watch. A lot of great accolades here.
Yep, for sure. Chris Hunt, Brooke Hannabury, first-year wrestler, took 3rd. Shout out there. Billy and Chelsea, giving the shout out to Talia, who, of course, knocked off Jolie Slider to win the state title there. Heather says 11th seeded Twin Falls High School sophomore Nate Ramsdale placed 4th, another low seed achieving great things. Lacey says, congrats to Bass Myers from Clearwater Valley, 195 champ. His sister Megan Myers took 6th at 138. Way to go, Clearwater Valley Rams. We had a couple of sibling partnerships competing here at state this weekend. Brian, that was a fun topic we explored earlier in the season, right? What's the best sibling duo?
Yeah, and I mean, were there any other brother and sister duos that placed this year?
Brother, sister, not that I'm aware of.
I can't think of any others. So that's somebody will tell us if we're wrong, but that's pretty impressive. Good work.
That's great.
So Brandon, going back, I hear a lot of 15 seeds, 11 seeds. When I do my recaps, if it says non-seed, it's anyone that wasn't seeded in the top 8. So correct me, Brian, if you don't make the top 8 seeds, are they randomly put in those spots?
They are.
Yeah. So sometimes if they're 15 seed, it's like if they were to go 15 seeds, that's where it would be. But some of those kids are randomly put there. So 15 seed, they could have easily been 12 seed, right? Based on just the extra kids, right? Being thrown in the bracket.
Yeah,
so
for sure. See,
either way, it's a great achievement.
It is.
If I was a coach, that's a secret I'd keep under my hat. Did you see you got the 15 seed? They don't believe in you, but I do. You know,
we have a lot of comments about these brothers. We had several brothers, the Macias brothers, Hamilton brothers, the brother and sister. We forgot Roxy and Ryder Sheen from Buell.
From Buell.
So there were a couple.
Yeah,
I knew our fans would catch it for us.
Yep, no doubt. I'll get to them here. I love this. The comments are piling up, guys. We may not explore any topics. They might just be and I'm cool with that. Jacob, shout out to Jason Mara, 4-time state champ. Jeremiah Gonzalez, 2-time state champ. Carson Gooley, 2-time state champ. Hudson Rogers, 2-time state champ. All from Meridian. Al, you look at that list, and it's no secret why Meridian won their 4th consecutive title.
Every kid you mentioned there's wrestling year round. They're putting in the time and the work, and they bought into the process, the system. Every one of those kids have taken their lumps this year. Jason is at a different level. He's beaten some of the best in the country, but kudos to all of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're reaching dynasty levels. 4 in a row is, it's just unprecedented at 5A level. Rogers, another one of those. Mara, obviously 4-time state champ. Rogers, I think 2 pins, 2 techs, or another just dominant tournament. Amazing team to watch. I saw comments that Murray could have been the coach of the year. Absolutely. I think some of the coaches just look at, he's been there so long that you forget, that's greatness. And so Peterson got it because, the work he's doing moving Madison up, but it definitely pretty impressive.
Yeah, you look at Mara. He came here his freshman year. He's from Bakersfield area. The kids he was wrestling with that I was tracking before I came here, in that state, they have 5 guys, 6 guys going in Division I. He was one of those guys. So he was surrounded by some great kids, even as a kid wrestling. That kid's been on a high trajectory from the beginning. So outstanding athlete, great student, great person.
Yep. Iron sharpens iron for sure. Ray Jean Frank, shout out to Tyson Barnhart from Post Falls, 145, 2nd state title, and got his 150th high school varsity win. Another member of the 150 club. And now he was the subject of one of your hidden gems just a couple weeks
great
ago.
Kid. He's a great student. Has an interesting story. He's motivated. He's got some motivation, and he's just he's a quiet kid, but just when I talk to him, just an outstanding. Outside of wrestling, he's going to do well in life. Just a real great kid, great family.
Yep. Here's Matthew. Go New Plymouth Pilgrims. They all fought hard. Team scores didn't work out in their favor, but they came back to finish 2nd. And that's a great accomplishment. That's a great achievement for New Plymouth. Definitely.
We were saying that they were going to be in the mix. So,
and we will get to our preseason, predictions here, and we'll see who got the most right. We picked way back at the start of the season who we thought the team champs would be. Those picks went into the vault, and I'll unveil those a little bit later on. Tiffany and Brian say, don't forget about Elise Twait with her 2nd title for Meridian as well. Even after
solid.
Yeah, looked really good. Mark says, congratulations to the Jerome Lady Tigers, 5 to state, 3 placers. That's great. Garrett, Minico did it again. Let's go. Hey, we talk about dynasties. Minico has now won 3 in a row, right?
Yep.
They were strong. There. They're a strong team. Outstanding program.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ryan up north, Nez Perce, 1 for 1 with their state champ. Al, that's 100%. I don't know if anybody's going to beat that.
100%. Simple math.
That's math even I can do, and I'm not great at that.
1 over 1, man.
Yeah, for sure. Billy and Chelsea, go Thunder Ridge Wrestling. Proud to be part of this group. Somebody finally toppled Eagle. It was the Thunder Ridge girls, Brian. We had talked about all year. They were kind of the favorite we were looking at coming in. They were bringing the most competitors. They ran away with it in the team race.
Yeah, they dominated. I mean, they had two Anderson, super impressive run from them. Just a great team all around. And then the numbers to see what they do with their program and the way Coach Webb there is built that up has been impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's Miria Garcia, freshman Malia Garcia from New Plymouth, 120, almost placed next year. That's that motivation that gets you through the offseason workouts, right? The chance to improve next year at state. Here's Coach Snyder. Yep, Thunder Ridge girls looked tough. No doubt about it. HA says, who loved seeing the girls heavyweight tossing her coaches after her championship? That got me ready for freestyle and Greco. And then Megan says, yes, Amy Hartman. That was awesome. Al, she was also your most recent Hidden Gems profile, Amy Hartman, and she came through 285 on the girls' side.
Oh, no. She dominated the competition. I mean, she had some close matches in the first round, but then she just picked it up and, she was hitting some good short carry moves. I mean, she did really well. But no, she's got a trajectory. Sky's the limit with her if she's willing to put the time in. I know she is. So,
and of course, had her signature cowgirl hat.
Oh yeah, it has all the signatures. In fact, I think that cowboy hat has a signature from every state except maybe a couple. So
it's pretty cool. Yeah. Another one that, pinned her way through the finals. I think we had 4 girls that pinned their way through the finals. So that was some dominance on the girls' side for sure. And Amy was one of those.
Definitely. Tiffany and Brian, Madison has it going in the right direction for sure. Great season. They're a team to watch next year. Congrats. Lynn, Post Falls medaled 8 out of 19. We were talking about guys coming in, what was Post Falls going to have to do to try and topple Meridian, and Brian, you kind of laid it out. You said, look, they're going to need to get the absolute most from all of their guys. And they got off to kind of a slow start and dug a hole early, and that kind of doomed them.
It did. And Meridian was so tough, but having Seguin back, that was nice. Trey Smith, having him back, he was in the finals at second. They put up a good fight for sure. Just couldn't quite pull it out. They probably needed about 13 and a couple more to win the finals to pull that out, but they give it a go. Yep. What was it, about 60, 70 points? So, I mean, Meridian was just so dominant.
Yeah.
It was a tough year to compete.
273.5 for Meridian, 206.5 for Post Falls in second place. Jose, shout out to all the freshman guys and girls. Idaho wrestling is in good hands with these young guns. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Travis, 3 freshman girls and 6 freshman boys win it. Al, do you have that broke down?
Yeah, three freshman girls won it. There was one girl, they said it was Shauna, I think it was Shauna Anderson from the East area. They said she's a freshman. I think she's a sophomore.
I think so too. I think so. I think we just had Olivia. So we had Olivia, Conrad, and Roxy Sheen were the 3 freshman girls, I think, to win it.
Yep.
Yeah. So freshman that won it was, let me see, Olivia Bezicek, Jerome, Kiana Conrad, and we had Roxy Sheen. Those are the 3 freshmen. They have Shauna Anderson from Thunder Ridge listed as a freshman. I think she's a sophomore.
Yeah, I think so too.
Please correct if it's wrong, because I think she took second last year.
Yeah. And then the 6 boys, we had Cole Younger of Grace, Hanson of Ryrie, Painter of Homedale, Crane, Bishop Kelly, Coons of Mountain Home, and Carson Leonard of Lakeland. So no 5A freshman, or no 5A freshman state champs this year.
Mm-mm.
So
motivation for all those 8th graders coming up.
Who's going to be the next great one, right?
That's right. Travis says, congrats to the Sandpoint Bulldogs. 2 girl placers, 2 guy placers. Here's Desiree, American Falls, outstanding showing. 5 girls came, 4 of them placed in the top 4. Pretty remarkable. Here's one we haven't talked about yet, guys. Mike says, how about Mac Mauger, 4-time state champ? He absolutely walked through his bracket. Nice work, Blackfoot. Al, yeah, we're watching one of the all-time greats from Idaho competing here.
No, he's a great person, great student. They have great family. He's a hard worker. He's put in the time. He's invested. There's no number compared to hours he's put into it. So, no, great. He made it. He wrestled hard this week and looked good. So, thumbs up. I'm proud of him.
Yep, definitely going to be considered one of the all-time greats. I think as far as accolades go, he's, outside of him and Ridge Lovett, I mean, Lovett had the undefeated 4 years in high school, but Mager was going down to California and seeking out that competition. I mean, in Idaho, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure Mager's undefeated in the state of Idaho in his 4-year career, plus the number of Fargo titles. Him and Ridge Lovett, I think right now, as far as accolades go, probably the two greatest Idaho wrestlers in the history of the state.
Yeah, because Lovett's a 10-time Fargo All-American. I know Mager has 5 titles, but maybe 7 All-American honors there. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But folk style 3 times. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So
it is.
Really
it's
great.
Amazing.
Hey, going back to the Sandpoint, I saw the 195-pounder Jordan Tyler from Sandpoint. He gave Preston Soner Craney all they can handle in the final. He's only a junior, both juniors, but Sandpoint's got a tough one coming up next year that will challenge for a state title. First time I got to watch him wrestle. Solid kid.
Impressive. Definitely.
Yep. Crossed 100 wins earlier this season, did Jordan Tyler from Sandpoint.
He's tough. I'm telling you, he's tough. So that should be a good rivalry again next year.
Yeah. We talked about Troy Grizzle already, but it's always nice to see a fellow wrestler supporting. Here's Garrett Vale from Minico again. We need to give a shout out to Troy Grizzle. Broke his elbow warming up for the finals. I feel bad. He was a great wrestler. Yeah, thanks, Garrett. That's going to mean a lot to him when he goes back and watching one of his peers saying, "Hey, I feel bad," and great job, great season. Here's Allison Bowden Banta from South Fremont, 162-8 career record as he just finished up his junior year. Another guy to keep an eye on next year, Al.
Oh yeah, no, he's a solid kid. This is his 3rd title?
Yeah, he'll be going for his 4th state championship next year. So that's
solid kid, great family. Talked to his dad all the time. 3-time state champion, incredible wrestler. So look forward to seeing him next year.
He was our cover athlete for our 3A state wrestling preview, Bowden Banta from South Fremont as well. Lucky says, what about that Lucky Matt kid? First year wrestler that qualified for state, first ever to qualify from Lakeside. I don't know if it was the first ever, but I know it was the first time in a really long time. And we talked about him last week. Great name, great kid. Lucky Matt from Lakeside for sure.
Yeah.
That was fun. Anthony, shout out to our Fruitland wrestlers breaking the 3A points record with 318 points. Al, you and I were talking about this before we came on air tonight. The previous record was set by the Shelley Russets back when they were a 3A program in 2007. They scored 270.5. Fruitland not only broke the ceiling, they demolished it, Al.
Yeah, I thought the previous record was 309.5. So we have to look at that. That's what that's what I heard. So, but either way, no, they had a great showing. In fact, they had multitude of second teamers play. So great performance on them. It was great to watch.
Yeah, somebody could let us know in the chat. I'm going off of what the official IHSAA website had listed. But as we've said, that's why we're trying to put a record book together as well, because we want to make sure.
Great program, great staff. Met a lot of the parents and family. Great team. So happy for them. Thumbs up.
Yep. In fact, that'll be an easy one for me to jot down for the record book here. Fruitland 318 this year. Yeah, that's one less thing I got to worry about.
We're watching history.
Yeah, that's fun. Tiffany and Brian, Jason Mara, 176-8 in his high school career. What a dominant career in those meat grinder weights.
Yep, it is. That's another one. I don't know if any of those, they would probably know if any of those 8 losses were in state or if those are all at Super 32 and Doc B, because it was the big tournaments, I think. Yeah.
too.
Probably Reno TOC, probably Walsh Ironman. I think he went there. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's the bigger tournaments.
Yeah. Here's Zach. Southeast Idaho had a great showing. Malad wins state 2A and gets the coach of the year. Grace wins the 1A banner, and not to mention American Falls deserves some love. They surprised a lot of people, and Lisa Gugelman was the girls' coach of the year. Guys, I told you Grace was going to be in the mix for that 1A banner.
You did tell us.
They got it. Yep. Tri-Valley just couldn't pull it off. I mean, Grace did a great job for sure. You called that.
Yep. It was phenomenal for sure. Okay. let's talk about this. This was something that was brought up a lot. Bray says, how about that 4A 120 match got crazy? It got crazy for a couple of different reasons, Brian. For those that maybe didn't get to see it or weren't, monitoring it, kind of give us the Cliff Notes version of what went down in this epic 120 battle.
Yeah, I mean, a crazy match. Saxon Scott was up over Jackson Freeman with, I think they 3-2, and they went Saxton on top with 20 seconds left. Rode him for about 4 or 5 seconds, cut him loose. Freeman was shooting to the edge. Saxton Scott turned his butt to the center, back to the center, which wasn't stalling yet. Ref call. Then he started running once he got to the center. Basically, the ref called the first stall call at 5 seconds, and then a second stall call on a point with 1 second left on the clock. I've never seen that. My opinion, being a ref, watching thousands of matches, I've just never seen it. If you're going to call it that way, we need to tell the kids, because that's coached. You're up a point with 10 seconds, no stall calls, run. So when overtime, in overtime, there's a controversial, takedown, really, really close. Crotch lift doesn't stop it. Jackson Freeman was in on a double leg. Would it been interesting? Would it ended different if he didn't call the 2 points so quick? And kind of let it settle? Would he ended up with the 2 not so controversial, possibly? So some definite controversy, but the stall calls, I just don't think it should have been an overtime. I've just never seen that ever, but it was, both kids should hold their heads up high. Jackson Freeman, I think just a sophomore, just an absolute hammer, going to be back, and it's going to be a fun rivalry to watch for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, it was a little unusual to see it called there. I mean, I think coaches kind of almost coach their kids to, hey, use a little bit of that clock if you need to, knowing that the likelihood of it being called is low, right, Brian?
Yeah. I've literally never seen that. When there's 10 seconds left and you have 0 stall calls, to get 2 and 5 seconds, I've never ever seen it. And you see that every year at the state tournament. Caldwell had a kid a few years ago, the same thing. That wasn't called. So unfortunate, not the kid's fault, not the ref's fault. It's a hard job. I mean, refs make mistakes, but definitely wasn't on the kids. And I don't think it should have ever went overtime.
Yeah. And it's just a snap in the moment thing, right? And you just, what are you going to do? So, all right, here's Lucky. Shout out Boone Julio for starting a program at Lakeside and bringing 3 wrestlers to state for the first time ever. Greatest coach any sport at Lakeside has seen. Ooh, that other sport, I don't know. James Two Teeth, he might have something to say about that, Lucky. But he goes on to say Boone Julio deserves some credit for coming to the Coeur d'Alene tribe and turning all the wrestlers' lives around. I say this, Al, anytime you can start or restart a wrestling program and give more kids more opportunities to compete athletically, that's a win for everybody.
No, I agree. I've been here for 4 years, and I have to say the quality of coaching from top of the panhandle all the way down to the south or the east is some of the best coaching I've seen around. There's some incredible coaching going on in this state. The average kid here has some great coaching. So kudos to everyone putting in the time.
Yep, it was phenomenal for sure.
Yep.
We were talking about Shauna Anderson. Yep, she is a sophomore, returns and seals the deal to top the podium after being the state runner-up her freshman year. Mia takes runner-up. Gracie Price is a freshman, takes runner-up as well as Ashley, a heavyweight. Fantastic work, Thunder ladies. That's that numbers, right, Brian?
Yeah, they're going to be solid for years to come. I mean, 3 underclassmen. Taylor Brown is also just a sophomore. Thunder Ridge is going to be tough to beat the next few years for the girls.
Yep.
It's great to see. Great to see. And Rocky Mountain, they weren't in the top 4, but they were in the top, I think, 6 or 7, but they're another team on the rise as well. Yep. So great to see.
Yep. Keep an eye out for them for sure. Okay. More comments rolling in here. Megan says super tough senior class this year. Al, we've been talking about all these great freshmen, but man, we got some really good seniors walking on the stage in the caps and gowns.
Like I said, I've only been here for 4 years, but I have to say, correct me, Brian, if I'm wrong, this is probably one of the best senior, junior classes with the state has. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It is. We talked about that one on a prior episode. I mean, my opinion, it's probably the best senior class we've ever seen. Not saying it's going to be the best we ever have, but it's super solid. Shout out to those freshmen that you mentioned before. These guys have been traveling together since, I've been traveling with them since they were in junior high. Just super impressive.
Yeah, they bought into There's a system. They bought into it. And these kids, it didn't happen by accident. They put in thousands of hours, so it's incredible. So I wish them the best in college as well.
Really remarkable. Here's Matthew. Shout out to Matty Hamilton for getting third at 5A 106 the hard way, and Damian Hamilton pinning his way to the finals and ultimately taking on the challenge that is Jason Mara.
Yeah, good work to the Hamilton brothers. That's another one of those sibling pairs that pretty impressive what they're doing up there. Nice work, guys.
Yeah. Here's Cobra. That 2A 138 bracket was stacked, and the first 4 seeds were all upset. Al, this was a topsy-turvy bracket.
No, yeah, I agree.
Where you had Morrison number 1, goes down in the quarterfinals, and that heartbreaking pin being up. I don't know what it was, 13-2 or something when he
something like that. Yeah.
And then you had the Tri-Valley kid, the 3 seed goes out in the quarters. I think they were all up. All 4 1 seeds went out in the quarters, and Morrison comes back and takes third, and the 4 seed I think came back and took fourth. So they all placed, but man, some upsets there for sure. Fun bracket to watch. Had the crowd on its feet when that happened. I mean, that was probably one of the loudest roars of the tournament when Morrison went down, and like I said, that was one of the highlights to me is just the way that kid handled it, because that's just heartbreaking. He's going for 4 state championship as a freshman, up that big in the third periods, and to get pinned, and good on the Grace kid for pulling it off. But Morrison took that so well. I was just super impressed.
Yeah, really phenomenal. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and Coach Snyder kind of echoed those same thoughts. A lot of great seniors that are graduating. That'll be fun to watch at the next level. Hudson Rogers, Jason Mara, Jaden Skellinger, Talon Eck, Shiloh Jones, etc. For sure. Okay, let's see. Lewiston placed 6 out of 13 wrestlers. That's right at 50%. That's awesome.
48.5.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't know.
Supercomputer.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
That's probably right. Al is.
I don't know. I'm just did it in my head. Sorry.
Al is the number cruncher of the group. Brian is the linguistics guy, very good at speaking, and I'm just the facilitator. That's how this goes. Okay, here's Michael. How about Ryder Seguin going from a broken hand at Tri-State to 3-time state champ? Trey Smith from massive knee infection after Raleigh and almost pulled off the title. Lost the final 2-0. Both those guys, late comebacks to the Post Falls lineup. It was great to see them compete.
It was great story for sure.
Yeah. Way to go. Madison moving up this year, Natalie says, and taking 4th, knocking off Middleton. We're coming for you, Nampa, next year. Nampa took 3rd, only 11 points away this year. Yeah, that'll be a good motivator in the offseason for sure. Here's Callan. Shout out to Sawyer Houston for placing 5th in the 98-pound bracket from Timberlake High School, and Wyatt Carey from placing 2nd in 106, also from Timberlake. How about... Let's see. Brian says, no worries. These Idaho freshmen are fire. Bishop Kelly will have more coming in also from out of state. BK just simply prepares them for college. Yeah, Brian, there are always athletes that are transferring to Bishop Kelly because it is a private school. There's opportunities, right, that they can get there. They're just using what they have to their advantage, right?
Yeah, and he's right. They do a great job of preparing kids for college. I mean, like I said, in the finals, to see the mat awareness of Martino and Skellinger to start looking for those bonus points with 5 matches. They had it planned out, and the kids were on board. College level stuff there for sure. That was, to me, one of the more fun things of the tournament, just to see the awareness from the wrestlers and the coaches. And He's right. They prepare them for college, and great team there.
They're the ones. He's doing a great job. Great staff. Great parents, family. I got to meet all the kids. Great. They did a great job.
Yep. It was really fun for sure. Okay. Cody says, thanks to all the coaches for helping grow the sport and future leaders, especially Al Fontes. Thanks, Al. There you go, Al.
Appreciate it. It's for the kids, for the sport, brother. We're going to bring Idaho into the conversation.
Yep. Shout out to Kylan Aguera from Blackfoot, moving on to wrestle collegiately, and Blackfoot climbed up to third place as a team. But that was the big question coming in, Brian, was which 4A team, after Minico and BK, who was going to take third, and Blackfoot comes through and does it.
Yeah, they had a great showing. Kylan personally had a great showing, just tried to hit a throw there in the finals, and it didn't work out, but just a wonderful season. And that team, Mager, Guerrera, the seniors led that team, and the whole team came through to pull that off because, they were a dark horse coming in, and they did it.
Yeah.
Good work to them.
No, I mean, we had them as the teams to watch, and those teams were all capable of being in the top three. What did they score? Like 125.5 points or something like that?
Yeah.
So, they were right there.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable for sure. Okay, Don says, shout out to all the freshman state champions. We went through all of that. Kendra 3A 126 ended up different than what was predicted. Crazy year. Al, that's why they call it state, right? You line them up and we can prognosticate all we want, but at the end of the day, right? You got to go out there and compete. Yep.
Yeah, and that it was Pugsley. You had a freshman in the finals there against Packer, and good. It was fun to see Packer win his first title because he's been right there every single year, third, second. So it was nice to see Packer get that, and it was pretty impressive from the Buell freshman Pugsley to make the finals there. Definitely some upsets on the way too.
Yeah.
Fun bracket.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's Al, your good friend X. Good state tournament. I watched this weekend. A lot of good competition. Shout out to Al. We'll talk later. You guys,
brother. We'll be talking. One of the kids I've been mentoring for years. Great guy.
Yep, for sure. We talked about the Myers siblings from Clearwater Valley. Here's Melissa. Bass Myers, forced to be reckoned with. Megan Myers will be one to watch in the upcoming seasons as well. Jeff, shout out to the 2A 138 bracket, unseeded and 6th seed wrestling for the championship. It was a chaos bracket for sure, Brian.
Yeah, we talked about that one a little. I mean, one of the more fun brackets to watch. Absolutely. Everybody upset. So
yes, for sure. Okay,
Aikman won it, right? From American Falls.
It's
3A.
2A 138.
Oh,
right?
2A 130. Yeah. Okay, I thought you said 3A. Correct.
A claim tag from Priest River. Yeah,
Priest River. Yep. Pretty remarkable. Speaking of the 2As, Becky says, way to go, Kellogg High School. They ended up taking home third place. First state trophy for the program in 22 years. Al, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. They worked hard. Happy for them. Thumbs up.
Yep. Annie says it was great to see some college coaches at the state tournament scoping out potential talent. Idaho knows how to make them. Yes, we do. Here's Tom, late to the party. Go Diamondbacks century. Shout out to my son, Mason Baumgardner. Fell short at districts and missed out going to state, but super proud of him and how hard he worked all season. And Al, that's a big motivator too, right? Those kids that just missed out on going to state. We talked about it with McGinnis from Mountain View, right? It can be a great motivator going into the next season. Hey, now this is my opportunity. I have to seize it.
No, I mean, if you look at McGinnis's history, he's had every reason. The average kid would have quit. He just kept moving forward. He believed in the process. He was patient, and it's paid off in the end because, I mean, he's been surrounded by some of the best heavyweights in the country. You just have to believe in the process. So failure is part of that. So, but nonetheless, kudos to everyone that sustains.
Yeah. Our greatest achievements come from our most spectacular failures sometimes, for sure. Mm-hmm. Travis says Meridian's freshman class coming in is wild. Get ready for another 4 great years, for sure.
They had 7 freshmen, I believe, go to state. I think. I have to go back and look at that. Yeah. So
reload.
That's crazy.
Reload.
Here is Coach Jed Clark from South Fremont. Go Cougs.
Yeah, didn't they take 3rd?
They did. Pull it off.
Yeah. Yep. They did well.
Yep. Hard fought for sure. Okay. I'm trying to scroll through some of these. Oh, here's another one for South Fremont. How many loved seeing Jackson Packer win his state title from South Fremont? Yep. That's
great kid. Great student. I wish him the best at Sioux Falls.
Yep, for sure. We were talking about Kellogg taking home 3rd place, first trophy in 22 years. Becky says Kellogg medaled 9 out of 17 to get that 3rd place too, and they had one of their girls medal also. That's fantastic.
Wow. Congratulations.
Tiffany and Brian, congrats to Claire Waite on a great season, getting her second title. Best of luck going forward at college. She's a great one too.
Yep, gonna be fun to watch.
Yep.
I'm excited for college next year. I mean, to see all these kids, we'll probably have a lot of red shirts, but it's going to be fun.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Here's one from John. How about Carter Balmforth having to beat Tregan Morin and Sean Hall just to meet Jake Castanedo in the finals? 4A 132, hell of a bracket. Yeah, the Shelly Russett, Carter Balmforth.
Nails.
Yeah, he had an excellent tournament. Obviously Castanedo is a handful, but that's one of the brackets we called. I think it's one of the brackets we picked out of those to watch, and it did not disappoint. I mean, Hall, Balmforth, Morin was a fun one.
Yep, it was a fun one for sure. Okay. Here's Coach Snyder. We were talking about Mac Mauger a little earlier. The only way to beat Mac Mauger is when he sleeps, and then you only have a 50-50 chance. He's like old Saint Nick. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Yeah, going back to teams, Nampa, they took third, but out of 14 kids they had 8 guys play. So, in their third, for what they brought, they placed a large percentage of their kids. So, we predicted they'd be in the top 3. So just, I think they had 8 guys play. So another kudos to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun for sure. Okay, let's see. People are asking us to talk about Super State, and I will save that to the end of the show because we had somebody actually go through and make brackets and actually look pretty cool. It would be fun to just look at those for a second. Okay, yeah, Al, we were talking about the 3A state record for most points scored. Sometimes it takes the IHSAA a year or two to update their record books.
Mm-hmm.
South Fremont last year, 309.5. So that record lasted for all of a year, and then Fruitland came in.
So that's what I was saying, 309.5. Yeah. So I was talking to some people today about that. So that's the number they gave me.
Yep, for sure. Okay, here's one. We were talking about, especially at that 4A 120, right? There was fans that were understandably upset. There were fans that were disappointed. There was some booing that came down, and here's a good reminder from Billy and Chelsea. FYI, parents should not boo children ever. If you were part of booing, shame on you, just saying, right? There's a decorum we have to follow with these things.
Yeah, it wasn't the kid's fault, it's too bad to see that. I look at wrestling as a big family, friends on every side of that debate, and, be happy for the kids and sportsmanship. That doesn't belong in wrestling. The kids don't know what you're booing, whether it was the refereeing or whatever. There's just no place for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Amy says most of the top teams averaged a little over 11 points per wrestler, except BK. So it becomes a number of wrestlers in the team competition. Yeah, Al, this is exactly what we talked about, right? Minico, strength in numbers. BK, really top heavy. The way BK did it is definitely the more difficult path to take. But if
they had the most champions, but you have to have those seconds. I think about all the divisions. I think Minico had the most second teamers place. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look at those numbers. So, but no, they had a strong performance in their seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Matt, shout out to Cole Curran, 4-time 5A runner-up. Man,
yeah, shout out. That is tough. Such a great wrestler. I mean, sometimes you just run up against those all-time greats, and that's kind of what Cole Curran did. But great career. Hang his head high because that's pretty impressive.
I hope he continues next level. He's got a good trajectory if he continues.
Yeah. Kind of like the Buffalo Bills, right? They got 4 years in a row to the Super Bowl, couldn't quite pull it off, but we still remember those teams as being great. So, okay. Here's Mike Saxton Freed, and now a state champ in black and orange. That was, of course, the storyline all year. So we talked about 4A 120 a little bit. Mindy says, I was wondering what happened there. So thanks for explaining what was going on. Of course. Glad to. Okay. Here's one. Shout out to Nielsen Glasscock from South Fremont, getting his state medal, taking third in the heavyweight 3A. He missed the podium last year in the blood round, and the previous 2 years never made that out of the consolation round. Great way to end his senior year, Al. It's that upward trajectory.
Yeah, upper trajectory and just having faith in the process. To get to the top, you have to be willing to fail. So failure is the great educator, and he believed in the process. So kudos to his achievement.
Those South Fremont heavyweights kind of brought that third place trophy home at the end. You had, Max Clark getting third, Glasscock getting third, and then the freshman out 195 in the finals from South Fremont.
Oh yeah.
So pretty good upper weights there, and they brought the title home, the third place trophy home.
Yeah, that was a really hard accomplishment for them, and their little dynastic reign comes to an end, but they still have a lot of great, things to be proud of from state for sure. Here's one, Jose. We talked about that 4A 120. Shout out to that young referee and the 4A 120 match who had some tough calls to make. You have a tough job, and there's no wrestling without you. You, sir, are well appreciated. That's the other thing, right? We can't do this without all of our great officials. It's a nationwide problem, not just in wrestling, but every sport. So big thanks to all of our referees out there.
I think they did a great job. I mean, overall, the officiating was pretty solid overall in the tournament.
Yep, I completely agree. How about this one? Tucker Bowen from Soda Springs sharing his spotlight with Lucas Hansen was such an amazing moment as well. What an incredible kid. And these are the stories that we love to hear from state, right? The off the mat wins, as it were. Okay. Cade. Brian, as a ref, what's your thoughts about having some replay options in the finals? Some close calls that review could help the controversy. Would be awesome to have all the time, but just isn't feasible. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think the finals, it would be feasible. I agree. It would be too tough in the tournament to bring it to every single round of the tournament. But the finals, it wouldn't add that much to it. I mean, we're waiting for the medals anyway. It's a 4-hour final. I would really like to see, maybe even the medal matches. I think you could do video replay each match. There's the replay. I think coaches would adjust to it and not abuse it, I would hope. But there's just situations that you need it. At least maybe a protest rule. So a case like that 120 match that it doesn't happen. And I think it's feasible in a limited amount, maybe the finals, maybe the medal matches, but not the entire tournament.
Al, what do you think about this?
Maybe for the finals. If you did throughout the tournament, it would take it too much time.
Yeah. Okay. Good food for thought for sure. Kevin, next year, can we get a 2A rep for the chat? Kevin, that is a great question. And the answer is yes. If there's somebody out there, we're looking for a couple of advocates. All right. If you are a diehard 2A, 1A wrestling fan, and you really know the sport in and out, we want to talk to you. Send me an email, Brandon@IdahoSports.com. We definitely need a smaller school advocate, somebody that can really come on and is informed and knows the teams and knows the athletes. We're looking for that. We are also looking for a girls wrestling advocate, somebody that is really plugged into what's happening in girls wrestling. Naturally, for the three of us, Al is an assistant coach at Rocky Mountain High School, which is a 5A. Brian, of course, is really plugged into the 4A scene, especially in East Idaho. And so the three of us, we're just three guys. We do our best to cover every inch of the state and every classification, but there's obviously some things that fall through the cracks. So if you are a girls wrestling super fan and you want to be an advocate on the show, come on every week, give a quick report on what's happening. We would love that. Same for the 2A. If you are interested, send an email, Brandon@IdahoSports.com, because we can't do it alone, right? This is what makes it so great. All of the great knowledgeable fans out there, Brian.
Yep. I mean, we make mistakes all the time, or we can't think of something, and there's always somebody in our audience that has it and posts it. So,
yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, trying to run, I came from a 1-division state. Now you got 5 divisions. And when I was at state, I'm like, wow, look at that kid from up at Sandpoint. Look at that kid up at Bonners Ferry. Well, I didn't know that much about them. They're incredible. Having those advocates will only help enlighten us of what's going on.
Yep, for sure. Here's Raylene. Congrats to Quincy Robinson taking third in girls 185. Fun to watch her grow from her sophomore to senior year also.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Let's see. Manny says, congrats to Zoe Ortiz on an awesome season. Are you going to let the cat out of the bag, Brian?
Hey, we have another college signee here. She was trying to hide it all season. She wouldn't tell me where she's signing, and Zoe is going to Iowa Western.
Oh, wow.
Wrestle, continue her career. So congratulations, Zoe. Fell just short. Had a great tournament. That was one of those tough brackets we talked about. That 132 girls bracket was just stacked. She had a great tournament, and she's going to continue her career at Iowa Western. Congratulations.
No, and I agree. I've been watching her. I've had an opportunity to talk to her a few times. Great kid, great potential. I wish her the best. I think she could be an All-American in college several times.
Yep, she gives it everything. She's always at extra practices. Pretty amazing to watch her growth.
Yep. Good
For
luck.
Sure. Mandy says, shout out to Mason Aiken, 138 3A. And then Olivia says, yeah, big shout out to the 3A 138. It's my nephew's weight. Total intensity. He didn't medal, but he wrestled amazing. Of course, Teton wrestled absolutely awesome this weekend for sure. Nick, 185, Bonner's Ferry freshman girl, taking second was impressive. LeBeau and Blair both upset. Girls wrestling is getting intense. Yes, it is. That's why we're looking for a girls advocate. Again, you can send that to Brandon at IdahoSports.com. Here's a good one from Sean Kane. He's our East Idaho Prepcast host here on IdahoSports.com, talks all things East Idaho sports. Shout out to living legend Paul Chase on the PA mic at State. It was fun to be there and watch. Al, it is, if you haven't been to State over in Holt Arena in Pocatello or the ICCU Dome or the mini dome, whatever you call it, it to me is an unmatched atmosphere. It's really cool.
It was a great atmosphere. I mean, shout out. I talked to many parents, family, wrestlers. I had a good time. I love Idaho wrestling. I'm blessed to be here. I look forward to the years to come. So it's just a great, I call it a wrestling family. So no, it's awesome. Great environment. And I think they fixed the Holt Arena. Looks like they put a new ceiling up there. It was a lot warmer, right, Brian? I mean, years past, it wasn't leaking rain. So it was a little bit warmer in that arena, but nonetheless, great place.
Yeah, seats were more comfortable. It's a good place for a tournament.
All brand new seats, right?
Yeah, it was rocking. That was fun.
Yep, for sure. Okay, Becky also says, how about that cute little national anthem singer for the finals? That's my best friend's kiddo, up-and-coming Kellogg wrestler and 6-year-old superstar.
That was awesome. Was that the same kid that sang it at Raleigh Lane?
I think so. Yeah, it sounded like him.
And Becky, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't a young kid from Kellogg go sing the national anthem? I want to say it was like at the NFR.
The same finals. Kid. They announced that at the tournament when he was singing. When they introduced him, they said he had just been down to the NFR to sing the national anthem. So that was, goosebumps when he sings that. It's
awesome.
That's
great
cool.
job. Do it again. Bring him back.
Yeah. We got to do a story on that for IdahoSports.com. We'll be in contact for sure. That's such a cool story. Okay. There are a ton more comments here, giving more shout outs. We would be here till midnight, I think, if we went through all of them. So I do want to kind of wrap up in the next couple of minutes, guys. So let's tackle two big topics here: Super State, and then also our season picks. We'll see, what we got right, what we got wrong, and who is the knowingest know-it-all here on the Matt Chat Prepcast. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's start with Super State discussion, though. I saw Mr. Brian Skellinger here. Chris Hunt, you're about to get 15 more minutes of fame because he's the one who drew up these hypothetical Super State brackets. Now, he has a caveat. Please don't attack Chris over the seeding. The seeding is by division. Give Chris some love for the Super State brackets. Brian, this was something that Chris put together unsolicited. He just decided to do it for fun to see, what Super State would look like. I thought it was pretty cool. Here's, for example, and you can find these on Facebook, but this is like the 98-pound bracket. It took basically the top four from all four divisions here and seeded them out.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be an amazing tournament to watch.
Yeah.
Is there what's a weight you guys want to see? You can see all these on Facebook. We don't have time to go through all of them, but Al, give me a weight you want to check out here. 138. Okay, 138. Okay, Al. So right away, a matchup I'm looking at right away, like 5-12, Wiley Stone from Eagle, Drake Morrison from Malad. Like, I'd love to see that. That'd be cool, right?
I came from a one division state. That's what you see. Mega matches right away. Now that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Then Coulter Burton. You got Shane Searle right away would wrestle Coulter Burton in round 2, hypothetically. Wow. That would be, and then Aikman and Coulter. Wow. That would be an incredible tournament. Yeah.
It would be. Yep.
Brian, you got to wait. You want to check out on the Super State?
Go 152.
Okay. 152. How about this right away? Eli Noah from Tri-Valley stepping up to the ultimate Jason Mara from Meridian.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Round 2 would be tough. Round 2 would be really incredible.
It would be.
Wow.
Shaw, Martino, McKenzie.
Wow.
Mara, obviously. Yeah, that would be a lot of Hamilton there. I mean, that fireworks for sure.
It's like fantasy wrestling, huh?
Absolutely. Let's make this happen, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I thought it was cool. And I want to check out 120. I'm always interested in what's happening at 120.
Ryder Siquin, Saxton Scott. Wow. Look at that. Marcus Ailman, who's a stud. Freeman, who's a stud. That first round match would be a battle. Bowden. Wow.
Yeah. And the 9-8, Gabe Muhlenberg from Glens Ferry.
And Macias. Stud. Holy smokes. See, that's the thing. That's what it would be. Wow.
It would be off the hook for sure.
It'd be cool. Logistically, there's still some things to figure out, right? Where do we put it on the calendar? Are Idaho's wrestlers going to want to, strap it on one more time? I think they would, right? I think the inner competitor to prove you're the ultimate best would take over, right?
Yeah. Yep. Lots of fun. We can dream.
Yep. It'll be interesting for sure. Charles wants to know what percentage of the number 1 seeds actually won a state championship. This is a good plug for you, Al. Al's working on all this data right now. He is going to have basically a state tournament recap. He's going to go inside the numbers, break it all down for you. That'll be on the website middle of the week this week on IdahoSports.com.
I have the numbers. I'd say the highest percentile was the number 1 seeds. As you progress down to 4th, 5th, and 6th, the numbers are a lot lower to what they actually, for example, I think, let me see, in the 3A, 13 of 15 number 1 seeds actually took first, 87%. So, and I think that's across the board for all the divisions. So I'll have all that data next couple days.
Can't wait.
That's going to be so awesome. Yeah. If you're looking for some good reading.
If I make a mistake, fire me.
How about just a pay cut?
I'll take that. It's all good.
Yep. Okay, well, let's get to wrap up the show, guys. Way back on our first episode of the season, I put us all on the spot and made us make our official state champion predictions. And then I put it away in the vault, and I said, let's revisit after state is done, and let's see who got what right and who got what wrong. So here's what I've got. I've got them all written on sticky notes. I'm just going to hold them up to the camera. All right, we'll start with 5A. Al and Brian both chose Meridian. Brandon took Post Falls, so that's a point each for Al and Brian.
Okay.
Goose egg for me. 4A, hey, guess what, guys? We all got it right. Al said Minico. Brian and I both said BK.
All right. Saved.
Okay, so Brian and Al still leading with 2 for 2. 3A. You guys did it again. Al and Brian each took Fruitland. I took Buell. I'm real good at picking second place finishers.
So far, 60%.
Not bad.
All right. And this is for all the marbles here. 2A. We didn't do girls, which was an oversight on my part. We should have. And we'll do that next year. 2A. Al took New Plymouth. Brian and me took Malad. So Brian is
plain sweet.
So Brian,
impressive, guys.
You want to go to Vegas with me and make some March Madness predictions?
I don't think I'm that lucky there. Those teams made it easy for us, right? But pretty impressive. I think, we're all either first or second through all the divisions. So
yeah,
good work,
a lot
crew.
of fun. Yep, for sure. All right, guys, it has been a fun season here on the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast. Al, I want to thank you for all of the work you do, not just on this show, but you're a coach. You also contribute so much great written content on our website, IdahoSports.com. We got very lucky when you decided to retire up to Idaho. You are way overqualified for us, and we love it.
I love being here. Thank you. Great wrestling, great families, great wrestlers. I'm blessed to be here. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Brian as well. Thank you so much. You have been, if you're my go-to guy for history because you've been here, you lived through it. Hey, what's the story here? What's the significance of this achievement? And everybody. You're like the mayor of Idaho wrestling, I feel like.
It's one big family, and I appreciate Idaho Sports covering the sport, everything that Al does, and the people that turn in weekly. I mean, I literally consider all these guys that tune into the show just family, and I love going to the tournaments and seeing everybody there. Greatest sport in the world. So thank you, Brandon, for giving us the platform, and IdahoSports.com. Pretty awesome.
Of course. And that was my last thank you, is to thank you to all of the wrestling diehards who tune in week in, week out. We have coaches, we have athletes, we have parents, we just have fans that are tuning in, and fans from even like outside of the state that Al have begun to go, wow, there's a lot of good stuff going on in Idaho. I should probably check this out.
And I appreciate when I'm at the state tournament, people come up to me, give me updated data. Hey, you missed this. Here's what I appreciate that. It's all about getting as accurate as possible. So I appreciate all their input, whether it's constructive criticism, positive, accolades. I appreciate it all. Just want to build a great product.
Yep. And we do it for you, the fans. And like I say, we don't really host the show. You, the fans, do. You steer the conversation week in, week out. You show up every week with your questions and your shout outs. And that's why we do it, is for you. 2 more comments before we head out. Idaho Wrestling News says, Al is the only person from California I'm happy moved to Idaho.
I love it here. I was meant to be in Idaho.
Yep, for sure. And then Marcy, nationals in a few weeks. Can't wait to see who is showing up representing Idaho. That's right. Wrestling season never really truly stops.
It never ends.
Al, of course, will have off-season content as he has time and as things come up. And we will do probably occasional off-season Mat Chat Prepcast, right? We're not going to go every week, but when something significant or something big is happening, we might all hop on and see if we can go for a week. But you'll have to stay tuned for all of that info. But yeah, another season in the books, gentlemen. It's been a fun ride. Congratulations again to all of our young men and women who went and competed at stake this past week, hit the podium or just hit the mats to compete. It was a really fun time. So
as they say, we'll be back.
That's right. In the meantime, stay plugged into IdahoSports.com and the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page. 2 great resources there for everything that's going on in the state of Idaho. For one final time, for Al Fontes and Brian Zollinger, I'm Brandon Bainey. Thanks for tuning in to the Mat Chat Prepcast, everybody, on IdahoSports.com.